Hi everybody, it's Rachel from Sage. How are you today? I hope you're well. I'm going to do not a full face but a whole lot of testing out of brand new stuff that I've got, all on discount from either Glowvolt or Cosmetic Capital. So I'll put those, I'll link those two places down below. Not sponsored or anything like that, everything I purchased myself. Looking a bit puffy today. Not really sure what's going on there. Anyway, I have been using this NYX Professional Makeup Zero to Brow Gel in the shade Ash Brown. This is my third time using it. So there is a doe foot applicator there, and there is a spoolie on the other end. Now I'm just going to groom my brows with the spoolie. So here's the thing. I do tint my brows, but I haven't been done since, so 3 weeks at least since I tinted my brows. And I have, been swimming a lot. So when you tint your brows and you swim a lot, then the tint will fade a lot faster. So there's not much there, and there are a lot of white hairs and grey hairs coming through. So I'm going to concentrate this through the center of the brow first, the highest point, because that's where I like the emphasis. Now, I'm not a dab hand at using this sort of applicator. I've either used a pen or a pencil or a powder typically in the past, and I'm used to using a clear gel, not a tinted gel. So if it looks a bit weird, you will see that. Like I said, I'm still getting used to this product. It is the right shade, so that's a win. Now I'm going to do the other side before I paint the other side, before I groom it through. So I can see the spoolie on this getting very manky, which means dirty in Australian slang, quite quickly. So I've been watching a bit of YouTube again since I've been home. The 2026 forecasting for beauty is generally that of a recession makeup, I have to say. It reminds me of Y2K. People doing their own tinting and their own waxing at home treatments. But of course now we've got all these high-tech skincare gadgets, things to mix your foundation to your perfect shade, and LED masks, and those things were certainly not available in the year 2000. Well, if they were, I was not aware of them. Okay, that's dried down very fast. Now it's not perfect, and it's not really laminating the way I like it to. So let me just comb it through a little more. When I say laminating, I mean sitting down against the skin, the hairs. That's what I like them to do. That's why I've used pretty much the same brow gels for the last 5 years at least. Okay, that's not looking too bad. I have 2 Revlon Colorstay Line Creator sticks here. Let's see if we can get that in focus. This end it's got a pencil, a kohl pencil, and this end is a liquid. So I'm going to swatch these to show you. It's a brush tip liner, eyeliners, okay? that's the colour of the brush on liner. So it's a burgundy. And here is the pencil. Oh, that's the top one there. Are we in focus? There we are, that's better. So there's a bit of a sheen to the pencil, very creamy, metallic, but not glittery. So the other one is more of a neutral combo, I think. I wish I could find the shades. Anyway, so the liquid component is like so. We've got a brown, a cool tone brown, okay? Universally wearable, every day. Revlon does do that well. They do those sorts of combos well, and they add a little bit of an edge with, well, hello, that's come right out. Get back down in there. I hate it when they do that. Okay, so that is actually matte to use, although I'm a little annoyed that the it already seems to be maybe broken inside. So that's those. Now I'm just trying to decide what combos I'm going to use today because I have a whole lot of stuff. So I'm just going to swatch everything. Now here's a brand you haven't heard of for a while. The Balm. The Balm was on deep discount is on deep discount on Cosmetic Capital. If you love their stuff, I would get on there and get some things. I do love their packaging. Mr. Right Long Lasting Eyeliner Pencil. So of course I got blue, didn't I? Seymour Compliments. Cute naming, cute packaging, cute theming, right, like a letter. Standard component for a gel liner, and blue. Now you know I'm always harping on about my L'Oreal eyeliner blue jersey. This is similar. It's not as deep as that one. It's more of a denim blue, I would say. So that'll be nice. I don't have a denim blue, believe it or not. I've got 5,000 different blues, but not that one. Okay, and that seemed to work quite well on the hand at least. Right. And then I have all of these guys. Aren't they cute? 3 liquid eyeliners, Schwing, from the Balm again. There's a black, a sapphire blue, and a gold. Guaranteed my daughter will take the gold. If you can see my nails being a bit some on, some off, I had to fix them up. So apologies for that if that's annoying you. Guaranteed she'll take the gold. So let's just see what they're like, shall we? Cute packaging. This is the black. Pretty standard, matte, black. Yep, smells like, you know, eyeliner, liquid eyeliner. Sapphire blue. I have a few sapphire blues, but the liquid eyeliners dry out so fast that I thought, well, it doesn't matter. Pretty, isn't it? It's very purpley, actually. I like that. And the gold, right? Yep, there's a sheen in there, metallic sheen. Can we pick that up, please? There it is. All right, yes, I'm almost certain my daughter will take that. That one is a little chunky, I have to say. So I'm assuming this is old stock, you know, but obviously it's never been opened. And it was very good price. So if I even get, you know, a month or two out of those, then that'll be fine with me because they're fairly small. It says they're full-size products, but they're not exactly huge components. Now that's those other ones dried down now. There's the Revlon, the brown, that's the liquid and that's the pencil. That's the first one, the red one with the pencil. That's the the Balm eyeliner in the blue. navy. And then there's those three liquids, the gold, the top, sapphire blue, gold at the top, sapphire blue, and then black. It's quite black. Yeah, it's taking a while to dry down. All the others have really dried down quite well. So, you know, I love my eyeliners. I thought I'd just show you those. Whether I use them today, any of them today or not, I'm not sure. Now, this got me in because it's the packaging. Look at it, how cute is that? It's from the Balm again. The Balm Voyage Gold Coast face palette. Now, I love face palettes. This is my second Balm face palette. Obviously the packaging is super cute, very slim as well, but high quality packaging. And they just take care with the details. And I mean, you know, they are an older brand, but I think that's really cute. And look at this, isn't this beautiful? Now, obviously not for a deeper skin tone, it's for a lighter skin tone. And the shimmers look, you know, that one looks the shiniest, that's a shimmer, that's a shimmer. They're all mattes, which are extremely wearable for me. A highlighter, and of course a blush, very much in my colour, the colours that I prefer day to day. So this is very much, I thought, for a summer travelling experience, and I did take this with me when I went on holidays, but did I wear any eyeshadow at all while I was away? Because it was, first of all, very hot. And was I wearing really any makeup at all? Not really. Maybe I wore some mascara. I certainly wore lip gloss, but other than that, not really. So let's dive into this today. I'm going in with the shade Vacation, which is the darkest brown. Now, I'm not expecting huge amounts of pigment here. This is not an indie brand shadow formula, I can already tell. The Balm were big back in the heyday of beauty YouTube, I'd say 2018 or so. Okay, it's brown. I'll go in with the lighter brown next to it, which is called Vacation. Vacation. Now, there's no really light shade here, which I generally prefer. I do like to have a neutralizing shade, but you can always use face powder to do that, like pressed powder or loose powder. Okay, we're talking everyday level of pigmentation. Now we'll go in with the sort of peachy, orangey colour called Sea Bunny. Don't know what that's got to do with the sea, but anyway. Now, given that this is the top layer of the foundation, the shadows, I've got a new brush now, clean brush. It might take a couple of goes to work through that top layer. Oh, I like that one. That's nice. There's not a huge amount of variation though, is there? It's all very basic. Not a put down to anyone that likes basic. Most people like basic, me included. But I'm showing you here what sorts of potential a palette can have. There's not much potential there beyond the same look for me. Could I use that as a liner, that darker brown? Potentially. Right, let's go in with some of the shimmers now, because this is where I think things might get a bit more interesting. I'm hoping anyway. I'm going to get some of the shade, what's that called? I need my glasses. Make Waves. I might do this with my finger. It's the middle shimmer. So that's what it looks like. Oh, that's pretty, but very basic once again. Okay, that's nice. It's nice. And given it's a travel palette for summertime, you know, you're not going to be spending hours on your makeup. Then I'll use the shade, the gold, Sandy Beaches, with another finger. That one feels a little bit gritty. There might be some glitter in there. Yes, there is. Not my favourite thing. Okay. Looks pretty, but there is some glitter in there. I can feel that. Let me sweep that up. And around. All right, so far, very easy to use. Now let's use the last shade called Trippin', which is that turquoise. And I'm going to get a flat brush this time, which I will spray with some setting spray, that one. Okay, and now we're going to use this on the lower lash line. Yeah, it's pretty weak. When you've been using the likes of Cosmic Beauty and Natasha Denona and Pat McGrath, and before all of that, BH, for many years, your expectations of shadows like this perhaps become, my expectations of shadows like this become a little bit different, unrealistic maybe. Excuse my sinus. Believe it or not, I've come back from the coast with sinus, which doesn't make any sense, but that's the truth of it. All right, so that's that. Now, I am going to use a liner on the top. Okay, that was easy. Revlon do make it easy for us, I believe. That looks nice. And I will use the brown on the other one. How about that? Because this is my twitchy eye, I do have to hold this one. That's good. Okay, so I'm tight lining now. With the brown end of the Revlon Colour Stay Combo. Easy peasy. Let's come up a little bit more. We need a little bit more pencil there. Okay, that's not as impactful as I was thinking it would be. It's more subtle. I guess that's swatching as opposed to wearing. Now I have put some of this on already and I did not film, I apologise. But I will go back in and do a bit more for you to see. That's quite pretty. This side ended up being quite Christmas themed, which makes sense here in Australia because we have Christmas in summer, unlike 90% of the rest of the world. Anyway, that's the look so far. Minus the green under eye, everything else is pretty much everyday wearable to me. How are the brows going? Yeah, they're okay. The finish on the top is not as neat as I would like. And I think I'd need to go back in with my brow pencil to make that better. But here we are. I have a new mascara as well from Revolution. I know, shock horror. What is this? What's this madness? Revolution Pro High Flyer Instant Lash Lift Effect. 24 hour. I don't know what that means. I don't think it's waterproof. It's called the High Flyer 24 hour length lift and define. Right, that's the packaging. Triple threat mascara. Let's get this out. It could be a tubing mascara, which is why it's saying 24 hour. Nice packaging. Okay, straight wand. Nothing too exciting there. No fibres. First use, so you can never really tell much about a mascara on its first use. You need to let some air get to it. I mean, I'm not going, wow, let's put this all over social media, because look at my lashes. But my lashes are not very impressive at 52 anyway. Okay, it is grabbing onto the lash quite well. There's no flared bits on the end of the brush, which I kind of like these days to do the fluttery ones out here. But it is grabbing onto each lash. I'm not seeing much volume, but did it claim to have volume? It claimed to have lift, didn't it? I mean, mascara is a category where you can save some money. There, with very few exceptions, most mascaras are pretty much the same. So I can tell the difference between some, but when you're talking about drugstore or supermarket brand mascaras, they're all pretty much the same. Having said that, I do have my favourites. L'Oreal probably make the best ones. And then Maybelline. This one's alright, but then again, it's the first use. It does seem a little drier than perhaps I'm used to with a first use mascara. Okay, so I'm going to put on some complexion products now, and then I'll come back to the highlighter and blush from the Gold Coast palette. Starting to sweat, need to finish up. I'm going to put on the blush from the face palette now, called Endless Summer. That's it there. I have just put a bit of setting spray on and some cream bronzer. Let's see what we get. I mean, this shade is, you know, universally nice for light skin tones. And it is a very summery shade without being too orange, too pink, too anything, which is what I like at the moment. Nice. Not grabbing onto dryness or anything like that. All good. Let's try the highlighter now, which is called Golden Hour. This doesn't look like it's got any glitter in it, so that is great. Super nice. I knew I was going to like this. Yeah, that's beautiful. All right, put a bit on the tip of the nose, a bit here. Dial that down a bit, that's a bit crazy. Just go back over it with the blush brush. Blend it a bit more, but that is a very summery look. I'm very pleased. I shall be back in a moment. So hair is done. Do you like my hair, Jules? Aren't they cute? I think they are. Anyway, here's the finished look. I hope you like this look. Now, my thoughts on the face palette. Not, you know, hugely impactful color-wise, but that's okay. For a light makeup look every day, getting some peeling with that balm. Light makeup look every day, pretty good. Creasing, none so far. I have noticed a bit of the green sort of migrating down a little bit once the setting spray dried, but still quite cute, I think. The eyeliner, I washed my hand just then with soap, right? That color stay, that branding does not mess around. They did not shift at all. The 3 liquid liners, however, came straight off, so that sort of tells me they're not long lasting. The denim blue one though, from the balm, it didn't move either. So the gel liner formula and the dip liner formula, that one there and that one there, from Revlon, that is going to take some getting off. That's going to need a cleansing balm to get off. Everything looks nice. Everything looks fresh, I think. And this is a more, definitely, you know, a more affordable way to get into colourful makeup if you're looking to do that in 2026. And yes, colourful makeup is back. And Cosmetic Capital and Glowvault are an Australian-based discount retailers, and I buy from them all the time. Now, I can't guarantee that the stock you get is 100% fresh, right? It is a discount warehouse situation after all. But I've never had any real issues. There's been one or two things that I've said, no, that wasn't very good. But mostly the stuff that I've bought has been really good. Because I live in a remote area, I can't always access the new stuff, you know, the Sephora stuff, the Mecca stuff. I mean, I check those websites too, and to be honest, there's nothing there that's really impressed me or interested me for quite some time. Pretty boring, actually. Whereas sometimes some of the older stuff, colourful stuff that I just want to try get into and not have to spend a heap of money, then I can go on Cosmetic Capital and Glowvault and do that. And I'm sure there are equivalent retailers in your country. In Australia, we don't get all of the brands that other countries get anyway. So when I see things like this, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that. And I know that if I don't end up keeping this, somebody in my life will really love it because it's very wearable. And these eyeliners, well, I'll wear the black and the blue, and my daughter, no doubt, she will take the gold. And of course, a mascara, I'll keep using it until it's done. Same with the lip balm. Same with the eyebrow thing. I mean, I'll have to use that a bit more to try and get used to it. And these eyeliners, they're already impressing me in terms of the colour payoff, the type of colours that they are, and the long wear. That is really, really good. And the blue eyeliner, well, I have gone through so many blue eyeliners. I always wear blue eyeliner, so that will be a good one for me as well. Thank you very much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you like this style of content, and I am very much a traditionalist in my presentation, I don't fancy anything up here, it's all me, it's just a 52-year-old face. There's no filters or anything like that here, just a ring light. And yeah, make sure you subscribe. Thank you, have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.